Shin Megami Tensei is one of the most influential series in the world, and it's a series that personally changed my life. Over the top title aside, it is 100% true. The Shin Megami Tensei series is something that's gained more recent recognition in the West, and it's something that I hold dearly. The way I got into the series is probably one of the most common ways people get into it. Persona 5. The game opened the floodgates and changed the way I looked at things. The game blew up because of its catchy music and stylish graphics, and that's what pulled me in as well, with a little push from an internet funny man. When I first picked up the game, I played it all the way to the first palace, and I didn't really put much thought into what I was even playing until my life fell apart. In 2020, the COVID pandemic started and disrupted a lot of people's lives, mine included. I hit a low point and I felt like I was falling apart. So I did the only thing I could do, and I kept playing the game. But this time, I actually connected to it. The ways that people can connect to these characters is one of the best things about this franchise that I've ever seen. Especially how you can connect to the characters that you never thought you could. Playing through the game, I felt like I was connecting to people that understood something that others around me, I didn't think they could. And I couldn't shut up about it. I found something special, and I couldn't find a way to express it. There was no simple or easy way to explain how I felt, but it felt like I was screaming and couldn't make a sound. I tried everything I could to try to reach a sense of understanding with myself, to change my outlook, my life, my anything. So imagine my joy when Persona 5 Royal came out, and I managed to get a copy of the game. The game took me around 150 hours to complete my first playthrough, and yet it felt like nothing at all, and the time just flew by, and it left me with the want to experience and understand more. At that point, I was already in the fandom, watching videos and seeing people's takes on the games, and I heard the age-old quote of "play a real Shin Megami Tensei game." And my first question was, what the hell is a Shin Megami Tensei? After looking up SMT and finding out that Persona is a spin-off, my interest was piqued. But I didn't get my hands on a mainline game until after I had one more dive into the Persona series. Persona 3 is a cult classic for a reason. As a game about one of the most uncomfortable subjects, death. But it was never treated like it was the end. It was never treated like it was something to wish for, or even something to fear. The story pulled me in, just like the last game did, but it pulled me in for different reasons. The game made me question my morality, my mortality, and it made me ask, why do you want to live? And why wouldn't I want to die? And the answer I got back? I didn't have one. I didn't have a reason on why I wanted to do anything. And I realized something that really hits you. When you realize that you have nothing that you're working for, but feel like you have nothing to lose, you either feel hopeless or you change something. And at that point, I didn't know where I stood. But a little while after finishing the game, I had my moment of realization. I was going to make something. I was going to find my point where I stood and make something of myself. Now, I didn't immediately know what I was going to do or how I was going to change my life. But it's funny how just a push in the right direction can change everything. After a while, I felt I was getting some more control in my life. And at that point, I was given something that started my path down the demonic. That Christmas, I was given Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. Nocturne gave me a look into something I didn't know the series had. I knew of the deep character narratives of Persona and the meanings of trust in others that the series has. But one thing they don't tell you about Mainline is if you look into the series themes, it will ask you, what world do you want to live in? And what do you value? Traveling through the Vortex world. At surface level, you're just a normal guy given demonic powers, and you're sent to run around and kill everything. It's a power trip, but that's just surface level. The game is a challenge to get through. Your friends will ask you, would you give up everything that you had to do with that old world to purely isolate one part of your life? Would you give up the relative peace and stability that you knew for a world where you're responsible for only yourself and what you can do where no one will hold your hand? Could you live completely alone, counting on yourself? Everything would be exactly as you want it, but you would always be alone. Maybe you think we just need to give up all of our ambition, all of our differences, and work towards one common goal, together. But none of those resonated. The thought of going back and continuing what you knew, maybe you could have changed it, but recognizing that you're only still one person, and you realize that's not a possible outcome. So you give in. I gave in. And went and destroyed it all. Because sometimes, to move forward, you have to break everything and build all new. The series asks these questions in a way that not everyone realizes that they're being asked. Some people may even think they're being asked a different question. And that's part of what makes this series amazing. The lessons that I have learned and taken away may be very different from someone else's. And I could go into every game for hours on end. But at some point, that's too much for one video. I'm going to make more videos about this franchise. Every game that I have played will get a video. They may even get multiple. Every game has something special about it, and they're not talked about enough. Everyone knows these games are commentaries and deep dives into people, but not everyone talks about what they're diving into, and what really makes them different. And it's a shame. The community around this franchise is expansive and filled with amazing people, many of which have inspired me, whether it be from challenge runs breakdown of mechanics with the math behind it, the mythology and the lore of the games, or even one person doing a little bit of everything. There are people in this community that deserve attention. And these are just the ones that I watch personally. I know there are even more amazing people that I haven't seen anything about or met. There are so many people that are out there that could leave an impact on all of us. And I think that's the real specialty of Shin Megami Tensei. It's a story about problems in the world using mythology, demons, and folklore to emphasize it. But it's also a story about humans, people that are bad and misguided. But there are even more people that are going to try. More people that want to work towards a better future, and more ways to think about it through layers and shades of gray. Thank you for everything, Shin Megami Tensei.